Everybody, welcome back to the channel, and watch this. There is an event that's happening in Puerto Rico. This is going to be a life changer for anybody who's interested in real estate investing, opportunity zones, tax incentives from Puerto Rico. Just coming to Puerto Rico to have a great workcation or education vacation. These guys are all friends and they are all partners of PR Consultants on several different deals. We have Deborah Rasso from the Ren Group. We have Catherine Morea from the Rio Rico. We have Chris Cooley from Ozworks and his partner Ashley Tyson. And Ashley Tyson is my brother from another mother. And we are partnered up on an Opportunity Zone fund that we've done lots of different videos about. But anyways, we're just going to jump into their Zoom call. They do a great job of explaining, what they're putting on later in July. And if you're interested in coming to Puerto Rico, watch till the end, click on the link, come see us. We'll spend some time together and have a great time. Check it out. Dale.
Hello. It's Deborah Rasso here from the Women's Real Estate Network with obviously a bunch of amazing people here to talk to you about what? Puerto Rico. I got to tell you, I've always wanted to go to a tropical island. Never did I think that I'd be investing in one. But my good friend, who you'll later meet, Catherine Morea, who's part of the Women's Real Estate Network, ended up moving to Puerto Rico. She'll tell you a little bit about that. And I went out to visit her and fell in love with this not only incredible tropical island, but amazing emerging market for real estate. Oh my gosh, the tax advantages, the opportunity zones, the people are lovely. It's incredible. So what happened? I got to meet these other two amazing men who are also involved in Puerto Rico. And we decided to come together and put an event together to introduce Puerto Rico to other investors. Now we're going to have an event. It's a real estate mastermind event from July 25th to July 28th. The link is down below if you want more information. But what I decided to do is have each one of them talk to you about Puerto Rico and what's going on in this mastermind. Chris, you want to introduce yourself and take it away?
Sure. Thanks, Deb. Thanks for having us. Thanks for organizing this whole thing. And I'm really excited to see you again. This will be our third event, right, in Puerto Rico. And I'm really excited that we've been able to tie like a bunch of the components that we put together in the last year. Our first one was June of last year. So I love that like there's noise, there's work happening behind Catherine right now. It's awesome. But no, just real quick. So my role, I'm one of the co-founders along with Ashley Tyson, who's also on this session, of Ozworks Group. And so we created this online community to support opportunity zones. And early on, we're well over 260 members nationally right now. But early on, when we had 40 people, Catherine was one of the first members, and there were 12 of the 40 some odd people that were in Puerto Rico. Now I'm in New York, so it was the middle of winter, and I just told everyone, look, I'm coming down to Puerto Rico, like to get away from this snow. And people started to message me and say, can we come too? So that's how this whole thing initiated. I'm partners in Ozworks Group with Ashley and Jimmy Atkinson of the Opportunity Zones podcast, and I had never met those guys until our first event in Puerto Rico, which speaks volumes for the community that we were able to create, right? Like that representation of like getting people together, building relationships, and connecting with each other real deeply online is something that a lot of people had told me in the past couldn't really happen. So I loved that when we got there, it was like a family reunion. We're in the middle of COVID, people are giving each other hugs, like. It was just incredible, right? So I got to meet Deb.
It's all together in person too.
Yeah, it was really nice. And you're also like on a wonderful tropical island. So what I realized is that almost the entire island of Puerto Rico is in an opportunity zone for a lot of different reasons that we'll get into over the course of the trip, and even we can talk about on a couple other sessions. But there's also incredible tax incentives for people who are wanting to make their life happen in and around the island and make investments on the island. So just as I learn and get to know everyone, that's been something that we're highlighting and wanting to just make sure that we're all on the same page with. So that's how this event came to be in its most advanced iteration. So I can just talk maybe, Deb, a little bit about the first day, and then I'll pass it off to Catherine. So the first day of the event, it's going to be technically a 4-day event. The first day is educational, and we've got folks from Invest Puerto Rico to talk about the economic profile of the island, the history of the island. We've got a group from the National Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce to talk about investing in businesses and the importance of including Puerto Rican companies and investors in all of this ecosystem. We also have some folks to talk about real estate investing and how that works, and tax and legal professionals to come in and talk about how you can actually set this up. So it's really, the first day is all about setting the stage, and then we're going to get into some interactive, amazing networking stuff and follow up into some mastermind. So it's all about actions and solutions. We want people to come down, experience the island, and also be able to do something with that knowledge, not just come and like have a nice trip, right? So really valuable. And Catherine, I'm going to zip it and pass it over to you. We've been friends now for a year and a half, something like that.
Yes.
And so if you want to talk about the bus tour and how you got to the island, I think that would be amazing.
Thank you. You know, and it's funny, you and I met through Ashley because I consulted with Ashley in setting up my own opportunity zone. So
All right, so I'll
back,
give credit for it all then.
well
Actually,
deserved.
Catherine deserves credit for it all. She was the nexus there. I just happened to be on the first phone call.
Yes. So then, and of course, Ashley told me about OZ Works, and you know, it's a great way to connect people who are investing in opportunity zones with resources, so you're not constantly calling your attorney who's charging probably a lot per hour to speak to you in 6-minute increments, no less.
Not this attorney.
So what happened was in 2020, I decided to leave California. I was kind of looking for my next place. I ended up at a tax seminar in Puerto Rico. Really, I was just coming for the seminar, met some people in Puerto Rico, decided that Puerto Rico would be my next home. And I sold everything in California. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of retire and live, you know, in paradise and drink mojitos on the beach, and it's all going to be great. And then I got here, and I'm sort of a real estate addict. And so, of course, I started learning about the market here in Puerto Rico. And what happened is I would meet someone and they'd say, well, yeah, I've got this project over here. And I'd be like, oh, I'd love to see it. And we'd drive over and see it. And that happened a few times where I'm just like driving around the island and seeing people's projects. And then when my friends would come to the island to visit me, I'm like, let me show you these projects. Here, this person's doing this, and here there's this real estate here, and this is what the numbers are. And then you know, when Chris, when you decided to bring OZ Works, you sort of informally, but it happened, and Deb with Ren kind of decided the same thing with a group of gals from the Women's Real Estate Network. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do what I love to do, is show everyone all these great real estate projects, because even though I came here initially to kind of lay low, it didn't take long before the numbers made so much sense. The returns were so fantastic, I couldn't unsee it. And then you top it with the fact that there's tourism tax credits and other tax credits, making it possible to almost double your returns just from that alone if it's a tourism place. So anyway, I ended up investing in Puerto Rico, and now here I am right now at an Airbnb that's going online this week. So if you hear any noise behind me, that is, you know, the construction that's going on, and I'm now, you know, setting up pillows and doing all the fun stuff. Actually, I really like that part of it as it you know, becomes real. So yeah, so we're going to do this bus tour, and the bus tour is the chance to get your feet on the dirt of someone's property and see what they're doing, and ask the developer, the owner, the principal in the transaction, like, hey, how did you deal with permits? Hey, how hard is it to find labor? Hey, how did you deal with this? What are the numbers like? Because it's really nice if someone's willing to share that information before you invest your hard-earned dollars, to kind of get an idea from other people, and get that idea from multiple other, you know, it's not just like, oh, we're taking you to one thing and we want you to buy that thing. Like, a couple of the things you're seeing, you won't have a chance to be in. They're done deals, but it's a chance to do a case study, right? So there's there's different projects that you get to kind of go around the island and see, and we'll stop and take pictures here, and we'll see, you know, some interesting stuff along the way, and you'll get to meet other people who are either thinking about investing in Puerto Rico, or they're other investors. You're always going to learn something from the person next to you on the bus. So it's a great chance to network, see the island, get an idea if this is the right opportunity for you, and basically make a lot of new friends as well.
Awesome. Well,
Oh, I'm supposed to introduce Ashley now. Sorry.
That's okay. You don't have to, so, maybe I don't need an introduction, right?
No, of course not. Of course not. Everybody knows Ashley.
Well, thank you again for being the kind of the linchpin on this whole thing. And so the story is that that Catherine and I jumped on a strategy call to talk about opportunity zones and talking about setting them up and that kind of thing. And then I guess it was probably a couple months later. And this prompted it is as I was on the follow-up call with her, she was taking it from a boat. She was getting off a boat, and I think you were in Culebra or maybe Vieques. And I was like, wait, that's white sand. And I was like, all right, I'm in, right? Because I am a sand connoisseur. And I was like, all right, I got to come down and check it out. So I was making plans for my 9th anniversary. And so booked it for down there in Puerto Rico, came down with my wife. And on the last day we were there, Catherine comes over for coffee. My wife had a call with like a client or something like that. And so we sit down and, as she walks in, she's like, holy cow, you remind me of this guy that's here on island. He looks just like you. He played basketball. He actually played basketball over in Europe, and he's a real estate guy. And I was like, there's no way that there's two gargantuan gringos on Puerto Rico at the same time that play professional basketball in Europe. And she's like, yeah, I'll have him come over. So literally he shows up like 15 minutes later, which is another testament that, somebody calls this guy out of the blue. Hey, there's this guy you need to meet over in Puerto Rico. And then Robbie Krager shows up and literally we were like brothers from another mother. And he's like, listen, extend your trip out. Come look at these properties, and I want to show you what we got going on in Puerto Rico. And so,
you did. You actually extended your trip and stayed over another day just to see that property. Yeah.
And that's what, to your point, right? I saw the project, saw what was going on, listened to the unbelievable tax credits available under the hospitality program and Act 60, and I said, wow, this is worth investing in. Not only actual cash, but time and energy. And that's way more valuable to me right now than actual dollars. And so, I spent the time and energy, like kind of getting to know the island, getting to know the players and the folks and that kind of thing. And then, so when the next bus trip was set up, when you guys put that together, it was like, yeah, of course I'm coming to that. And then that's when I actually, like my point was, it took Puerto Rico and the tropical nature of it in order to get Jimmy and Chris and myself in the same room together. We had been on Zoom a lot before, but until that point, we had actually yet to meet face to face. So out of that, there's lots of different events and that kind of thing about informational sessions. And we've tried to take that, right? Take the best out of, the live in-person events, the online events, and what we've learned over the course of over 1,000 strategy calls and setting up over 1,000 funds. And then, doing a boot camp, a compliance boot camp once a week since November of last year. And we're trying to take the elements of that really resonate with people and apply that to this third day. And so that's where the Q&A sessions come from, because I think it's really helpful for people to be able to jump in and get their questions answered. And then at the end of that, we're actually going to do a hot seat. So we're basically going to throw everybody's name into a hat, and then we're going to figure out who's going to get the opportunity. And we may do 2 for me to basically kind of grill them, right? To walk through their project, to ask them the questions that they might get if they were sitting across the street or across the table from an IRS agent about what their what their audit trail looks like, how they funded the deal, some of the other steps and some of the different intricacies of an opportunity zone deal that you may or may not be thinking about in order to highlight, okay, these are the things that you need to be thinking about and that you need to make sure that you've got nailed down. And so that's what the third day is going to be like. We're super excited about it. As you can tell, I have done nothing but live, eat, and breathe opportunity zones since 2018. And so we're going to bring that same passion and excitement to the table. Even though we're dealing with some kind of in the weeds stuff compliance wise, it can kind of be a pain in the ass sometimes. We're going to bring a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of passion to it. And we're going to do that on Wednesday.
Ooh. Thank you guys so much for sharing all your experiences. I wanted to say that, Catherine isn't sort of a real estate addict. She's a total real estate addict, just like me. Give me more, give me more. And so I've invested in Puerto Rico, right? Over the last year, we got a multi-unit in Miramar that we're turning into a bed and breakfast. And what? We're getting 40% back in tax credits to do it. That's 40% of our purchase price and our rehab costs. Now, who doesn't want something like that? It's an incredible opportunity. And one of the things I also want to mention to you is that Puerto Rico is buzzing right now with a lot of like-minded individuals. Like, we're talking about startup incubators, shared workspaces, real estate tax incentives. We're talking about people who want a certain lifestyle, right? Now, maybe you're looking for an expanding market, or I don't know, maybe this will serve your goals this year, but this is an incredible emerging market that you might want to hop in on right now while it's hot, because the opportunities there are abundant, and it's an incredible tropical island to visit. So join us. I'd just really like to extend an invitation to check out our website at renpuertorico.com. Join us in Puerto Rico in July. We're not only going to have fun, but we're going to talk about an abundant way to make money. And that's always fun. So join us. And if you have any questions, you can contact info@reninspires.com and we'll answer all your questions. Or if you want more information, just reach out to us and we'll get it to you. So hopefully we'll see you there.
Cheers.
Thank you, Deb. Thanks, everybody.
All right, so hopefully you made it to the end here. You enjoyed that. Those guys are great, aren't they? Click on the link below if you're interested in coming. I'm telling you guys, this is life-changing. Come check out what's going on in Puerto Rico. It's going to be worth it, I guarantee it. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, smash the subscribe button. You know what to do. God bless.